wanted to give you a quick introduction to the interview that I had with Paul Debevec at this scientific event we attended the other day. You know, normally I attend marketing events. This time it was a very special scientific event hosted by Siggraph, a computer association that deals with all the computer graphic stuff. And they invited very smart person, Paul Debevec. It's a professor and researcher from the University of Southern California. He's got a PhD from Berkeley, so he's really smart. And he actually invents techniques how to improve Hollywood movies. And he's really famous in the industry. Everybody in Hollywood knows him. He helped to produce movies like Matrix, Spider-Man 3, or The Jungle Book, which I hope to see this week. So have fun with Paul Debevec and the interview.
And I'm so excited to be here close to Bavaria Film Studios because I met a person today, very special person, and I just heard his speech. I think I understood only half of it, but what I understood was really good because he actually supports one thing that I always preach, which is if you talk about photography, if you talk about videography, it's all about the lighting. It's all about the lighting, and it's all about getting the light right. And today I met the master of light, which is Paul Debevec.
Yep.
He flew here from California, very nice place, but you look quite German.
Today, so we're about to go to Frühlingsfest in a little bit, and since we're going to go straight there, the suggestion was get ready for it beforehand, so I gave my first entire talk in Lederhosen.
Yeah, and I think that really added a lot of value to your speech. No, really good. I think it suits you very well, and you should definitely wear it often.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So I think most of our audiences might not know you because they are not from your field. So who are you and what are you doing?
Well, I'm a computer graphics researcher trying to invent new technologies, and I work at the University of Southern California. We have a research institute that's in a very up-and-coming area of Los Angeles called Silicon Valley South. And we're developing for actually the last 16 years new techniques for computer-generated digital actors and digital illumination. And one of the main things that we build in our lab that we have invented is something called a light stage. And it is this geodesic sphere, 3 meters wide, with tens of thousands of LEDs of different colors. And it's one of the few devices in the world that can produce any direction, intensity, color, polarization, and spectrum of illumination. And there's a number of useful things.
It's really good. So what I got, like in a nutshell, is basically as a challenge is to get the light right. You actually can get the light right digitally.
That's right. One of the earliest techniques that I wrote a paper on back in 1998 was a way that you could go on a set or to a location and record the light that's there as a high dynamic range panoramic image. This is where I started taking pictures of mirrored spheres or panoramas and bracketing the exposures, taking underexposed and overexposed shots, putting them together into high dynamic range images with floating point pixel values, and then using global illumination ray tracing software to illuminate computer generated objects or a CG character with the light that was really there in the location. So they look just as much like they're there, lit by the right light, as the other actors who are in the scene. And you can believe that that's not computer added later, but it was there when everything else was shot.
So the objective always is make the light look like it was real.
Yeah, let's have it match and have consistency in the illumination, because for a person to look at an image, their brain has to do a lot of complicated stuff. And if the lighting is inconsistent from one element to another, that just gives the brain some unexpected challenges in what they're doing to put it together. And so we kind of need everything to be consistent so that people can get an overall sense of the lighting in the scene, and then they know brighter values or darker values mean stuff is shaped this way or shaped this way. And these are the relationships between the different parts. And also, the lighting is a big part of the artistry of the cinematography, and you want to have that communicate itself in a consistent, controlled way throughout the scene as well. So we need virtual light and real light to really talk to each other and interact believably and properly.
Yeah.
And the light stage systems are what we built to start to be able to build the three-dimensional real lighting that you actually put on a person's face to match computer-generated lighting.
So I think everybody looks a little bit for the meaning of what he or she does. So if you would want to say like one thing that your work makes this world a better place, what would that be?
Well, I'm hoping that what we're doing is making essentially more effective tools for communication, for visual communication, so that something that somebody imagines in their head can efficiently turn into an experience that somebody else can see. And by having more of that process happen through powerful tools that we've figured out how to build that can make things look realistic, that can generate this imagery more efficiently than painting it frame by frame or keyframe animating frame by frame or manually placing lights. The hope is that just the barriers to visual communication drop, and we will all have a better sense of each other's stories and each other's ideas.
So right now it's mainly used for like film industry and like tell stories that are like maybe invented by someone. So you said in the future there's going to be more a form of communication of telling the reality. Maybe
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to tell a story, I mean, you can always write it down, and people can read it. Nowadays, we're actually shooting this very professional production right here on a cell phone, which we all carry around in our pocket. So
it's a Microsoft Lumia 950. This is not a product placement.
Excellent. So those tools, which would have been from a sophisticated TV studio, we're shooting at high definition right now with stuff that's in our pocket. Why not be able to create, an epic vision of Avatar and have that be on tools that you can create and access inexpensively and have that technology? You still have to have the great idea, the great story, the great amount of creative effort that goes in there. But let's make the technology as freely available as possible, and then we'll hear more stories and more perspectives.
When are we getting there?
Slowly, a little bit every single day. And we usually see these new technologies show up for the first time in a big, expensive feature film like The Jungle Book that used some very interesting technologies. We helped out with a little bit. But the technology of today that's in the expensive hundreds of millions of dollar movie, within 10 or 20 years, it's probably in our pocket.
Wow, that are good news for everyone, I would say.
Hopefully.
Or in that you want to share with those people out there.
Let's see. Well, so I'm in a unique and wonderful position because I get to work at a university. I get to have most of my projects be motivated by just doing something that's new, and we can actually fail. We hope to get a good research paper out of what we're doing, but if we have a failure every so often, it's not like there's a client that sues us afterwards.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's useful. It's a great environment in which you can try to create something new. But then after we've proven something in the research paper, that's when we get an email or a call from people in visual effects or in video games that say, we want to scan some actors, we want to try your technique, we want to hire your grad student as an intern, or we want to buy one of your light stages. There's now a light stage at Activision, which is the video game studio, and there will be much better looking faces in the video games coming out this year as a result. So we love to stay focused on the new thing, but then also have the chance to take what we've just developed and then get it into the hands of the people who can do beautiful work with it. And that's been a satisfying combination.
Cool.
What did you study?
So I got undergraduate degrees in math and computer engineering, and then I went into computer science for graduate school, but I always had a bit of interest in film and visual effects. Well, I have a combination of math. I mean, I took some art classes. I wish I had taken more. I played around with photography a lot. That was very helpful. In high school, I worked on the yearbook and the newspaper, and I shot thousands of photos on film. I certainly recommend to students who want to work in games, virtual reality, visual effects. Hopefully you have some artistic talent if you're interested in those parts. But if you are inspired by the art, also learn the science, learn the technology. learn how to program, at least how to write scripts, even better, C++, and understand the technical things. Because if you think about it, like the great artists, they were also very technical people. Leonardo da Vinci would, mix his own paints in order to create the colors and the qualities of texture that he could create. So understanding how to create the technology, to modify the technology, to make it more powerful tools to get your artistic vision across.
Nice. So it was so great talking to you. It was very new to me, most of the stuff, but I'm super impressed. And although I don't get all the numbers and charts that he showed, I think I get the meaning. And I think this is the most important thing.
Excellent. Glad you enjoyed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to meet you.
Hallöchen. Wo bist du denn?
Ja, ich bin jetzt irgendwie in München gelandet, aus Hamburg, ne?
Aber wir haben uns ja zusammengefunden aus einem ganz besonderen Grund, weil heute ist Sonntag. Schaltung.
Siggraph irgendwie ist hier in München.
Was ist das denn?
Das ist weltweit die größte Computergrafikveranstaltung in den USA und die gibt es als europäische Ableger, also Ugraph.
Und wir haben natürlich hier Latte Macchiato, speziell
Bestes
von mir.
gemacht von der Danny.
Espresso hier.
Hey, it's Martin. We're doing the first shot here with Paul Debevec.
Okay, it's a 360-degree camera.
This is so
And as this event was about visual effects, I thought I'd try some visual effects. Right here with you. I really like the birds too. Aren't they cute? They're following me. Nice visual effects. I think Paul would be really proud of these in horror movies. Very advanced visual effects.